excited to be here. I want to begin by thanking Ladies at UX Boston, the organizing committee, the volunteers, our sponsors, speakers, and the amazing audience. Thank you so much for being here today. I remember my first conversation with Clara and Olga. I was in the process of identifying a city to host LTUX 2018. They were enthusiastic and, more importantly, determined to host LTUX. That enthusiasm and determination has not reduced in the last 10 months, even when they were facing hardships, challenges, and hurdles. So they only seem to be more enthusiastic and determined. So congrats on putting together such an amazing conference. I'm so proud to be part of it, and great work. All right. I'm going to let my panelists introduce themselves. So Darla, do you want to start?
Okay. Hi, can you hear me? Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. My name is Darla Huang. I'm the co-director from Taipei chapters, and I've been volunteer for Ladies at US Taipei chapter for almost 3 years. And it's very honored to be here today to share my Taipei experience with all of you. And as for my personal career, I'm the digital deputy product director from Hearst Media. And actually, at Hearst Media in Taiwan, we are responsible for 3 titles, including Cosmopolitan, Elle, and Harper's Bazaar. It's basically fashion titles. And what I'm doing is that my team and I try to build up the digital solution that support the media daily operations. So if you have any questions for me, please feel free to come and ask me. And within these 2 days, I hope that we can have a wonderful time together.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Clara Kliman-Silver, and I'm really excited to be here today. And I also want to offer my congratulations to Lara and Olga and the team, because this is a wonderful conference. It's also personally exciting because I actually founded Ladies UX Boston 4 years ago in 2014. I used to work here in Boston, and I then moved to San Francisco in 2016, where I got involved in the local chapter. And over the last year or so, I've been more involved in in Ladies UX global efforts, and I'm now director of Americas, where I'm overseeing the strategy and creation of new chapters across the Americas region. So it's been a really fun role and a really good way to get to know Ladies UX around the world. Personally, so I've been working in UX for the last 5 years or so, and I've worked at a couple different companies, ranging from enterprise healthcare to AI, and I recently joined Google as a UX researcher.
Hi, I'm Lizzie Dyson. I'm the co-founder of Ladies at UX. So I've been involved, I guess, since the beginning where we started out Ladies at UX Manchester. I've been involved in seeing it grow into the broad community that we've got today. Away from Ladies at UX, I'm a UX designer for Booking Go, which is rental cars. We've just merged with Booking.com. So when you book your hotel, that's where you stay, and we're looking at how you get around once you're on your travels. So yeah, that's me in a nugget.
Before the panel begins, I just want to mention that all our panelists here are speaking on behalf of themselves, and they do not speak for their employers. So I'm curious to know, Darla, when did you join Ladies at UX, and what brought you to Ladies at UX?
Well, I just mentioned that I joined Ladies at US Taipei chapter 3 years ago. And I remember that at that time when I was still in my previous company, one of my colleagues, she invited me to join Taipei chapter as a volunteer. And at that time, we were trying to build up a US team in our company. So it's very important for us to get more connections with the US community. And within these 3 years, I just met a lot of amazing female UXers and very talented UXers around the world. So I really appreciate to Taipei chapter provide me such an opportunity. And I also would like to share my experience with other people that also have that kinds of need. So I contribute a lot in Taipei chapter. I wish to bring those same experience to others that just have the same needs as I do.
I have to thank Clara because the first time I attended a Ladies at UX meetup was in Boston. So, and then I relocated to Madison, Wisconsin, and I really missed this community, and that I ended up starting the Madison chapter. So, Clara, if you could talk more about founding the Ladies at UX Boston group.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So in 2014, I started the Ladies UX Boston group, and I think Lara actually came on board pretty quickly after that. So we've been working together for a while. And we were, I think our very first meetup was in Harvard Square I think we tried to meet at Pete's, but I didn't do a good job communicating it, and I remember there were a lot of people running around trying to figure out where we were going, and I learned a lot of valuable lessons that day about how to use Twitter and how to tell people where to go. But pretty soon after that, I remember we had another meetup at Boloco, which was better attended, and people actually knew where to go this time, and we talked about what do we want Ladies UX to be. I think that it followed the Brighton model that Lizzie was talking about this morning, where it was a lot of what are the needs of the UX community, and what should we do, and how can we learn from each other? Because I think Boston is a fantastic city for tech and for UX, and we have lots of people working in very different spaces at a variety of sizes of company, and there's so many valuable lessons and methods and technologies that we're all contributing to and working on, and we can really learn and teach each other a lot.
That's great.
Yeah.
Lizzie, you spoke about the first UX meetup where there were 8 women who showed up. Do you remember any funny stories or anecdotes from one of those meetups?
I think specifically, probably, I think because it's 5 years ago, might be a bit tricky, but I just think it was the first one, and we were getting messages back on Twitter because we were like DMing people saying, do you want to come? We're going to try this out. And we were just waiting outside to see if anyone was going to turn up. And we were just, we didn't think anybody was going to come, and that we'd just come up with this insane idea. And like, why would they want to come to a meetup that we'd planned for women in the tech? But when 8 people showed up, we were just like ecstatic, because it just felt like it wasn't a mad idea, and it was something that people needed or wanted. So yeah, in general, just like, I think, yeah, everybody was just happy to meet up, and it was just nice to have women around a table, because I think for me, I've sort of grown up as a bit of a tomboy. I've always been, I don't know, like had male friends, not really had like a girly like relationships in that kind of way. So it was really nice to just have women in the tech industry that I could talk to and have that like communication with, which was nice.
Lizzie, if you can please talk about the vision for Ladies at UX going forward.
Yeah, so Ladies at UX has grown so much from what we first started out with in Manchester. Like I said earlier, we didn't think it would ever be this big. We called ourselves Ladies at UX Northwest, thinking that was going to be it. Like, we would grow to the size of the UK, and like if it went well. But what's come out of that has been amazing, and having these global conversations and having and enabling people to be able to talk between different cities, and if people move careers, they're able to go from, I don't know, like Clara's gone from Boston to San Francisco, and there were groups there. So it's kind of like, I don't know, in a cheesy way, like home from home. You know, there's people there that you can go and reach out to and meet, and you've got some sort of network already. So building on that and making it stronger. There's so many good things about Ladies at UX, like the volunteers. It just made it what it is. There's no way we could have got here without them. And I think people have asked me a few times today, so do we work on this full time? And we don't. Everything that we've done is in our spare time, which is another thing that makes it insane to believe that this has come out of people and their efforts around and outside of their full-time jobs. So I guess going back to the vision, we want to we're looking to build on top of the things that we've already got, giving our volunteers like a platform to be able to create and discuss things across the globe, and maybe also maybe bring someone in full time, or just give it the attention that it deserves, because look how far we've come with just volunteers. Like if we could grow that further, it'd be amazing. So yeah, and then our vision statement that underpins all that is sort of shifted. It was supporting and promoting women in the industry, which we want to do, but I think it's changed since we first started. The industry's definitely changed, and we basically have set ourselves the big task of trying to achieve global diversity globally, which is going to be a big one, but we'll get there eventually.
Lara, you're the director of LTUX North America. So tell me, how is it managing, different geographies, cultural approaches to UX?
Yeah, that's a great question. So currently we have chapters in the US and in Canada. And I think that one of the biggest things that I've had to learn how to do is be able to get a pulse on how is UX different in different cities around these two countries, and also what does that mean for ladies UX? How can we best support it? So we have some cities, I think Boston's one, San Francisco's another, where you have these very, very dynamic tech scenes, and there are lots of different people in UX, but also in adjacent fields as well, who maybe want to start working in UX or want to move from their current role into UX, or just get a better understanding of what UX and related fields are so that they can build do better work at their job. And then you have other cities where the UX industry might be much smaller. Maybe there are one or two companies that have a UX team, and there might be a couple of freelancers who have set up shop there and are looking to meet other people, but really just their goals are different. So thinking about how can ladies at UX be a platform for that and be supportive of all these different needs. So day to day, I'm sorry, this is really echoey, but day to day, some of the things that I've been doing have been talking to different chapters and also getting the chapters, as Lizzie was saying, to talk to each other. So there are a couple of people who have gone on these tours of America or the world, or wherever you are. If there's a ladies UX group, you go contact whoever runs it, you see if there's a meetup, maybe you speak at a meetup, but really get a sense of what is similar, what is different, and then reporting that back so that we as the global team can better support and better help these different chapters grow in the ways that are specific to their cities. And I think as part of this, and we're also recruiting a team of global volunteers, so there are a handful of us who are involved at the global level who are running day-to-day operations, but as Lizzie said, these are things that we're doing in our spare time, and all of us do other stuff as well. So if this is something that interests you, if you want to help us get a sense of what is Ladies UX like around the world, then definitely reach out, because we're always looking for more hands.
Can I just add on top of that? There's been a lot of talk about success metrics today, and I think one of the things that I've seen with ladies at UX is we've always said from the beginning, success is not how many people show up to the events; it's the value that we're driving through these meetups. And I remember when we had one group that started in Russia, and it was two women that I think there was one woman that started it, and on the first meetup, one woman turned up, and she was like, "Oh, I don't know what's going wrong. How am I going to get people to come along?" And I think she tried to get more people to come, but there just wasn't any other women in UX in that area. So they basically just met up once a month and had coffee together, and they just loved it so much, and they just come away with loads of energy, and I think it is just having that support network in the industry. But I think it doesn't matter if it's one person that you can lean on or a big group of people. It's been quite nice to see the differences around the world on what Ladies at UX looks like.
Yeah, and to that point, I think as well that a lot of these chapters change over time, and the needs of the chapters change. So they're when I started in Boston, I think we had a lot of people who were early in their career who were looking for networking and to learn specific skills. And then as time went on, we had people who were more senior who wanted to know what's next and how do I level up? Do I want to stay in UX? If I don't stay in UX, what do I do instead? So I think that the needs of the chapters change, and if you have 5 people talking about those hard questions, then that's just as valuable as 100 people attending a really dynamic workshop.
Darla, can you talk about the growth of UX in Taipei?
The growth of UX in Taipei. Okay, I just want to share some experience from Taipei chapter that since 2013, the UX job opening has been increased year by year, and according to some headhunting institutions research, that the UX opening has been increased 1.8 times within the 5 years, compared with other roles that only grow like less than 1 times. So, which means that the industry or the company arise the awareness of how important the UX specialties will be. So that actually is a chance for Ladies at UX Taipei chapter, because we're more easily to push forward what we want to do. And it's more easily for us to find the partnership with the same philosophy as we do. So Taipei chapter actually started from 3 years ago with only 6 people. That's quite a small group, right? However, we have been grown up to a chapter that have 3,000 followers, and yeah, it's a big one, and over 100 members. And we're kindly proud to say that we are one of the mainstream UX community in Taipei. Actually, it's in Taiwan. And that definitely is very convenient for us to share our experience or share our philosophy with the Taipei city. Yeah.
I want to pivot back to Lizzie and talk about how the organization has changed ever since you started Ladies at UX.
Yeah, so I think the industry has changed and the organisation has changed as well with that. I think it started off with trying to get women together to be able to share their stories and their journeys through their careers. And we, over the time, have opened that up, and I think we've had workshops and talks. Men are getting more involved in the conversation that we're having, and just the whole face of diversity. And as UX is growing as an industry, I mean, people have been doing these things or these roles for a while, but I think the UX industry is getting more defined, especially over the last 5 years. And we're just trying to change and adapt to what the user, like what people need. And we've seen people at the beginning coming in as like junior roles or wanting to sort of learn how to talk or present in front of large groups of people. And like Clara said, they've adapted over the years. So now I've heard of there being like meals for women at C levels to try and tailor for those levels of the industry. How do you host an event for people in different levels? And we're trying to make sure that we're supporting women and other people through their career at different stages. I guess, yeah, it's just trying to help everybody at each stage and help them to make the right decisions and keep that community. I think the fundamental part of like helping, supporting and promoting hasn't actually changed that much, and I think it's been really interesting that has underpinned every city that's grown out of Ladies at UX. We started that as a sort of a vision piece when we started to get to about 10 chapters. We thought, what's our vision going to be for going forward? And the fact that every city has carried that on has been amazing, and the fact that each city is completely different, but also with the same underlying strategy and vision underneath it has been great to see, because it means that when people do go between cities, it's still got a very similar feel to it and a community, which is great.
Clara, do you think the atmosphere has changed, within the community? You've been with the community for quite some time, so.
Yeah, I do think the atmosphere has changed, and sort of would echo what Lizzie says, that as the organization has grown and ladies UX has spun up around the world, I think that this is in some ways a direct reaction to the explosion of UX over the last 5 years. UX and HCI and human factors have been fields of study and fields of business for a long time, but I think that I always say somewhere between like 2012 and 2014, but I'm not really sure exactly when it happens. Maybe it's a bit earlier. But I think we really started to see this massive explosion of UX. Like there's suddenly lots of people who knew about it, who wanted to work in it. There are many, I think there are a lot of ways, there's always been a lot of ways to get into it, but I think that we started to see more undergraduate programs and also courses and boot camps and online opportunities, just lots of different opportunities to get involved and become a UX designer. And I think that some of the attitudes towards these kinds of UX meetups have changed. I think people have seen them as more necessary as both a support system, but also as a learning opportunity. So what are things that you need to be able to do to get where you want to go next, whether it's your first role or you want to level up. And I think that internally we've seen a lot of excitement. We've seen a lot more chapters want to grow and expand, and people who have been involved in the organization are now moving to other cities or want to become more involved at Ladies UX on a global level. And then also just I think the turnout has increased and the conversation and the kinds of events that all the cities have been holding around the world. So a lot more excitement, and as I said, I think this is a direct reaction to a global attention and investment in UX.
You spoke a lot about the Ladies at UX community. I'm curious to know, how has Ladies at UX positively changed the local community in Taipei?
Because Taipei chapter has been 3 years, so we kind of contribute a lot to the community. And I can summarize into 3 key points. And first of all is that Ladies at UX chapter tried a lot of effort to empower women. So basically, participants or our members, they're able to sign up as speakers in our monthly meetup. You don't have to be very well known, but we encourage those women who are familiar with specific areas, that they have something to share, that we're willing to invite them to our monthly meetup. And also that we provide opportunity for our participants to experience leadership, which means that they're able to take charge of one project, such as monthly meetup, or they're able to become the team lead in our sub-team. Because that's how we work in Taipei chapters. We divided our volunteer into different kind of sub-team. And each sub-team we entitle a team lead that will help monitor the team operations. So it's provide them chances to become a leadership. In addition, we also provide women to learn from each other. That's very important. So we just try to build up an environment, a chance for women to feel confident and try to let them empower themselves. That's the first point. And secondly, we do encourage women to learn from each other. I can address one example that we have done recently because we did a little bit changing for our monthly meetup. Previously, we just invite speakers to attend our monthly meetup to provide keynotes or some short sharings. However, now we do some little bit changing for our format. We combine open space technology with the short sharing together in our monthly meetup. So I'm not sure that if anyone here know about open space technology. Actually, it's kind of methodology that usually leverage in the agile process or the self-organization company. So which means that in our case is that after the short sharing for the speakers, the participants are able to provide questions or any topic they want to discuss and write it down on a post-it. And they are able to post those questions on the wall, and then we will divide those questions into 3 different groups. So the moderator will ask the participant to gather together in front of the wall and start to discuss about whatever they want to discuss. The open space technology actually had a law called the 2 feet law, which means that you're able to enter one group and leave whenever you want. You don't have to have any reason. You just walk away and join other group and start the discussion. So we're quite surprisingly to see that how it went well within our chapters, because it helped the participant to learn from each other. Sometimes they will generate interesting idea that they have never thought before, and it makes them more engaging with each other instead of they just come to a keynote monthly meetup and they view that as a lecture and they go without any connections. And thirdly is that we try very hard to provide Taipei chapter to have enough support for the global connection, because Ladies at UX actually is an international community, and we have very strong resources around the world, around all the cities chapters. So it's very easy for us to connect to, for example, like European chapters or North American chapters or other Asia chapters. So it's easy for us to bring the global insight to the local chapter, which actually draw a lot of people try to join Ladies at UX Taipei.
Thank you. Thank you for all your hard work and all the amazing work that you've been doing. Thank you for sharing your experience today. Thank you.
Thank you.